Good morning. We're here to share an update on the investigation into a double homicide that occurred on Saturday, May 25th at the office, 640 West Prospector Court in Southwest Lincoln. First, we want to express our condolences to the families of Carlos Silva and Terrell Jones, who passed away from the gunshot wounds over the weekend. Our hearts go out to their loved ones as they grieve the sudden loss of Mr. Silva and Mr. Jones. We do have new details on a second arrest made in connection to this case. 32-year-old Darius Fletcher of Lincoln has been arrested for 2 counts of accessory to first-degree murder and felon in possession of a firearm. He was located in the 1400 block of South 10th Street and taken into custody without incident late Tuesday evening. This all began on Saturday morning when Fletcher and 32-year-old Christopher Johnson arrived at the establishment. Shortly after, Jones and Silva arrived with some friends. Johnson and Fletcher can be seen on surveillance video talking to each other before the shooting. Johnson then approaches Silva and they begin a discussion near the front doors of the building while Fletcher starts talking to Jones while he sits in a vehicle. Moments later, Johnson pulls out a handgun and shoots Silva multiple times, and he falls back inside of the building. He then turns and begins firing at Jones, who is still in the car. As he exits the vehicle, Johnson continues to fire his weapon. Johnson then gets back into his vehicle, and Fletcher drives the two away from the scene. Investigators tracked Johnson to Omaha, where he was arrested Tuesday afternoon after a short foot pursuit. He was taken to the Douglas County Jail on 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of use of a firearm to commit a felony. LPD would like to thank our partners with the Omaha Police Department, the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, Nebraska State Patrol, and the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force for all their assistance in apprehending Johnson. He will be extradited back to Lancaster County at a later date. This investigation is still ongoing, and we ask that anyone with information or video of the incident to please call our non-emergency number at 402-441-6000. Or if you'd like to remain anonymous, you can also call Crime Stoppers at 402-475-3600. And with that, if there's any questions, I think we'll open that up.
Any indication that they knew each other at all before that night?
Yes, they were aware of each other prior to that evening.
Any indication what led to the shooting? Or
yeah, that's something we're still looking into, and we'll continue to, as witnesses continue to come forward and we continue to do some of these interviews, hopefully that picture becomes a little clearer for us.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
There were multiple shots fired. I don't have an answer for you right now on the total number, though. That's still something that we're looking at from a forensic aspect.
So did Johnson use the gun that Fletcher had, or were they both armed?
They were not both armed. The firearm that was used in this shooting was brought by Johnson, and then after the shooting it was handed over to Fletcher.
So they were familiar with each other, but only Johnson was arguing with Silva, and Fletcher wasn't seen arguing with them at all?
Fletcher was not particularly having a conversation with Silva. He was talking with Jones at the time that this began, and Johnson was talking with Silva, but the group all generally knew each other. Yes?
Was Fletcher in the car talking to Jones, or was Jones in the car?
Jones was the one sitting in the car. Fletcher was standing outside of the car talking to him.
Gotcha.
When is Johnson expected to be extradited here to Lincoln?
I don't have an answer for that right now. That'll depend on the courts up in Omaha, Douglas County.
Was anything, do you think, planned or premeditated?
Well, certainly with the charge of first-degree murder, there's some sort of planning that we believe took place. So yes, we believe there was some sort of planning. At what point that planning started, I don't have an answer for that right now, but we do believe there was some premeditation involved with this, yes.
What leads you to believe that there's some premeditation to this? Did you speaking with Johnson or Fletcher, did you?
I think based on the video surveillance that we were able to obtain from the area, yeah.
Do you know where exactly they were shot?
I don't have that now.
Get the black vote out team.
Did Carlos and the Terrell make it into the office, or did all this happen like after?
So they had gone into the establishment initially, and then they had exited the establishment and were out in the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does Johnson or Fletcher have any background as far as like a record of violence or anything like that?
I mean, they have both been arrested prior, and I think that's probably available publicly. And I guess as law enforcement, I mean, we are aware of them, but.
Any reason to believe that this had anything to do with some kind of gang violence or anything like that?
I don't believe we can say that right now.